The Toronto Blue Jays lose out on the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes. Then day breaks, and then they find out they lose out on the Bo Bichette sweepstakes as he signs a 3-year, $126 million deal with the Mets. The Bo Bichette era is over in Toronto, Keegs.
It's hard to imagine, Dan. Like, even though you know that the business realities of baseball are going to come, there are certain players that just feel like they're going to be here. Watching Bo Bichette back to when he was a high schooler, back to when he had the long hair, back to when him and Vladdy were in the minor leagues. I think everyone remembers that Baseball America cover where they both look like they're boys in that still, right? They represented the future and the hope of the Blue Jays. But again, these short-term big money deals only work for some teams. And they only work financially, but also philosophically for some teams. And the reports out now that the Phillies had a longer term deal on the table for Bo. But if you're Bo Bichette or if you're Kyle Tucker, the option to cash in now and goddamn, like I mean cash in, and then hit the market again when you're 30, 31, or even sooner with opt outs, it's pretty attractive if you're Bo. So good for him for getting this payday. I'm very interested to see how he looks at third base. That is not where I would draw him up, not where I expected him to be playing defensively, but hard to say no to that amount of money over a few years with another opportunity to hit free agency.
The math is $42 million a season. Bob Nightingale reporting the Phillies agreed to Bichette's request for a 7-year, $200 million deal on Thursday night, and then the Mets swooped in with that 3-year, $126 million deal. All of this just adds up to, I think, Ernie Clements having a party today.
Ernie Clement, starting second baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays. And from here, Dan, that gets us to why Bichette was still such a good option for the Blue Jays because the middle of this market doesn't make any sense for Toronto, I don't think. The very top does, and the bottom. If they want to go out and grab a reserve utility infielder, another outfielder, another backup catcher, sure, whatever. That happens every offseason. But to upgrade now, if you're going to take infield reps away from someone, it might be Clement, it might be Addison Barger. So you're not just looking for a big leaguer. You need someone who's good. You need someone who raises the ceiling. Bichette would have done that. Cody Bellinger still could. We'll see where that goes. Maybe the Yankees. But the middle of the market doesn't make much sense because the Blue Jays have big leaguers. They have a high floor. They need to raise this ceiling. And in terms of hitters still available who do that, it's getting awfully thin. So there was still interest in Bo, absolutely. But this shorter term, high money deal, I'm not saying it's something the Jays will never do, but it's not something we've seen them do. And again, I think it only makes sense for certain teams at this point. And the Mets, who tried the same thing with Tucker, they do it with Bo. They clearly like that, but Bo's in an enviable position now. The power that he still holds while making 42 mil a year, that's a good spot for him to be, especially at this age.
Cody Bellinger's agent is frothing at the mouth because he sees Tucker's 60 million and he sees this $42 million deal for Bo. So he's thinking, wow, we're gonna get 50.
Oh yeah. And I'm glad that we're finally talking more in terms of AAV in baseball. We do a better job of that in hockey and basketball sometimes. It lagged behind in baseball where you'd say, "Man, this guy's making 300 million bucks, but it's over 13 years or something." And we're finally getting there, unfortunately, with these shorter term deals if you're a Blue Jays fan. But Bellinger is going to have a lot of fun in this market. He has been someone reportedly, and Dan, the word reportedly probably loses some weight by the day because, I thought that Bo Bichette was supposed to go to Philly where he wanted to play with Don Mattingly. And I thought that Kyle Tucker apparently wanted to be away from the bright lights. But hey, don't believe everything you read on the internet, even if you know the person's name. But reportedly, Cody Bellinger wanted that 7-year deal. The Yankees were closer to 5. So does he want that traditional deal? And does he want to get out of this free agent churn? Because he's been a free agent enough now. He's talented enough to be locked up long term. The Yankees are in a bit of a place now where not desperation mode, but Bellinger fits them really damn well. Yeah, Bellinger fits the Blue Jays too, but anyone else at this level, Dan, it's a question of whether the Blue Jays believe they are a special player worth the tax penalties, worth going to ownership about again. I think Tucker was kind of in that conversation. Soto and Otani, God, yes, they are. But once it gets down to Bellinger, do you want those tax penalties as well? Do you want to get more creative? We'll see. But the market is moving quickly. It's no coincidence Bo happens right after Tucker. It's going to keep picking up steam.
Here's the spin I'm putting on it for Jays fans, and tell me if you buy in or not. The Jays now do not have a target on their back because they didn't get one of those high-priced free agents. Instead, they stockpiled. They've made a lot of offseason moves, and this was further solidified my thinking of how the Jays can spin this and Jays fans in their own heads when I talked to a Dodgers fan last night and I told him all the Jays offseason moves, and he said, "Who are those people?" So I said, okay, maybe this is all a good thing because the Jays remain the group of people are that they already had this on them. Who are these guys?
I still
They
think the
can
Blue
go into next
Jays,
season with that.
yeah, like they've had a great offseason. And I don't say that in an apologist way where they're like, they still need another hitter. I still think they need another bat, but they've had a great offseason. And I think, Dan, it's a product of how early the Dylan Cease deal happened. You know, they can still go out of this offseason saying, we got the best pitcher on the market. Dylan Cease, 7 years, 210 million. Like, hell yeah, that's a great deal. He is going to be an ace or near ace caliber pitcher for this team if all goes well. But they got him in November, right? And the offseason moves quickly. Now, I really wish more every day that I covered baseball in the 80s and we could just all open the newspaper in the morning and we did not have to sit on Twitter full of all of that stupid stuff. But I think that the incredible amount of attention on the baseball offseason now and the incredible flow of information has changed how we view the baseball offseason. It turns into a what have you done for me lately type of game when really the totality of the offseason needs to be viewed. And I really like the Blue Jays offseason so far. I think they need to do a bit more, but they got the best pitcher. The Dodgers got the best closer and the best hitter. So that sucks if you're a Blue Jays fan. But I think the Blue Jays have gotten themselves back like very roughly down to where they were. Okay, they're replacing Bassett and Scherzer and Sir Anthony Dominguez, Bo Bichette. I think the net gain, they've come out pretty good in that. But they still need to keep adding. They need to get better. You can't just bet on Anthony Santander being better. You've got to bet against some things that might go wrong. So I think it's a bit matter of timing as well. Because let's say, Dan, the Blue Jays had signed Ponce, Rogers, and Okamoto up until now. And they responded to the Tucker and Bichette deals by landing Cease right now, right this minute. I think a lot of Blue Jays fans would be saying, hell yeah, they just answered. Okay, the Blue Jays are back in this. But it's the matter of timing. It's how long it takes and how long you want to reach back. So it's that's why, I'm eager for the real baseball to start. I can't wait, Dan, just to get to Dunedin and cover actual baseball. I don't
Mhm.
care if it's men stretching for a week to start out. I will cover those hamstring stretches with the passion like you've never seen because I'm craving real baseball at this point. But the offseason is long and the obsession over the offseason, which is great. It's good for baseball, but it makes us very focused on the right here, right now, I think.
And the Jays offseason was not as flashy as the big signings. So the Jays didn't try to impress their neighbors by painting the outside of the house. They fixed the inside where it
Like
really counts.
great plumbing, great electrical.
Yes.
Like the Blue Jays have bought like what's the example? Like they've bought like a really nice new Toyota RAV4 that's going to last way longer than your fancy car, but it's been a very good offseason. And I hate saying that after they lose Bichette and Tucker because I never want to be that guy saying, "Well, actually, it's quite all right." I screw those
Yeah, yeah,
people.
we need to be those
Yeah,
people right
you
now.
you need people to tell you how to feel as a baseball fan. You
Yes.
need that guy. There's not enough of them. But they've had a very good one up to this point. Very good. I do still think that the one area, if at all possible, is another bat because you're betting against some things that might go wrong. Last year, Dan, 2025, will probably for the rest of my career be the season I hold up as an example of what it looks like when everything goes right. That will not happen next year. Now, it's not going to go into the pits, but it's not going to be that good in terms of all of these success stories. So, yeah, Cody Bellinger is still out there. There's still a mid range of the market, but I keep coming back, Dan, to like last offseason. Andres Jimenez, I didn't see that deal coming. No one did. Maybe there are other opportunities out there for the Blue Jays, but their outfield, I think, still makes the most sense. They have Dalton Varsho entering free agency next year. George Springer's deal is up, and they developed Kevin Pillar, a decade back as a defender. But since Vernon Wells, Dan, they haven't developed a real star caliber offensive outfielder. That needs to happen eventually. But in the meantime, they've got to go out and keep finding those guys on the open market or the trade market.
Well, dominoes are falling and they're falling fast. So we may be speaking to you before we officially talk to you next week. Thanks, Geeks.
You got it, Dan.